Hello, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, wherever you're listening to this, and welcome to the ALTX, what used to be called Drive Me Crazy. I don't really know what this video is going to be. It's just kind of something I need to do. I need to be creative. So for any of you who have ever watched my old videos called Drive Me Crazy, it was just kind of a rant. And that kind of really, pal? There is a bicyclist here, super slow. See? Look at the bicyclist go. Jeez. Alright, anyways, I'm here just to talk about, today I wanted to talk about being creative. And just how it plays into life and how it plays into just my life and how it plays into a lot of people's lives. So being creative is something that humans do. I think it's something that sets us apart from most things like other primates. I know that our creativity, the fact that we can generate future, we can think about the future and we can extrapolate from that sets us apart from other primates. Other primates have the creativity to use weapons and use things like straws and things to extract food from other things. But I think creating something, creating art, creating videos, creating anything is more of a human thing, and it's something that definitely has been part of my life for a long time, but only until recently have I really discovered how powerful being creative is. So I think if we look out through the entirety of human existence, we can see that art is something that humans have always done, whether it's performance art, painting, sculpture, music, acting, anything else like that. It's something that humans have always done, and I think it's something innate to humans that we have to do. We have to create. We have to express ourselves in different ways. And some people can express themselves in other ways. So, for example, people who express themselves through physical action, such as movement, sports, or martial arts, or dance. That's kind of that creative spark that everyone needs. For me personally, I think that I've found, especially in the past couple of years since getting a little older, my creativity comes from making things. And where does that come from? I have no idea. Let me give you a little bit of background about who I am, so you can understand a little bit about me, I guess. I've always been creative, artistic, I guess. I can remember all the way back to kindergarten being in the shows at the church that we went to like twice a year, but for some reason we had to go. Shout out to Mom's Day Out if you're there. They really helped my childhood, I guess. Because of being in those programs, I was always on stage. I was feeling that creative drive to create something. And to be part of something and create that performance on stage. And I really enjoyed performance arts all the way through university. University, I've tried my best to be part of, the dramas and be part of stuff like that, but I was never good enough to actually even make it in the chorus. Granted, I only tried out like 2 times and I got shot down, and then I kind of got, introverted, I guess is the word to it. But over the years, I've found that creating something, is something that I really enjoy. Making things with my hands. I make shakuhachi as a pastime hobby. I'm not very good at it. I've destroyed more than I've actually made. But making something is something I enjoy, and including taking photos. And I found that taking photos is doing photography, taking photos, is a thing that really just fills me up. I don't know how else to explain it. It really is the thing that quenches my thirst for having to be creative. Making videos and taking photos is something that just, it scratches an itch that I've had for so long that I never actually knew was there. And I think being creative is something that so many people have. They have that itch, but they never take care of it because for one reason or another they don't do it. And for me personally, I think it's because we're actually more isolated now than we ever have been. Now, don't get me wrong, we have the internet, and that brings us all together, and we can be part of a community online, and we can create things like, I'm always constantly creating things. I even have, my problem is I create too many things. And so, I have accounts on DeviantArt that I never use. Look me up, Lantz sensi. I have accounts on Fiverr that I never use. I have accounts on Hit Record, the Joseph Gordon-Levitt company. Because I just love to create things. I love being part of that that dynamic, that group, the making of something. And I think it's something that everyone could do and everyone should do. Find a way, find something to express yourself, to really just put yourself out there. And it's just something that you will never regret. For me personally, it's photography. I found that photography, art, I'm constantly drawing. This little notebook here, I have another video, I'll talk about that. But creativity, just finding ways to be creative every day pushes you to go out of your boundaries and pushes you to think about the world in different ways that you never think about. And that is why I think creativity is very important to people. It gets you out of your comfort zone. It forces you to do things you've never done before. It forces you to express yourself in ways you've never expressed yourself. I am horrible at drawing, but I draw. I have this with me everywhere. I have 2 notebooks with me everywhere. I'll get into why in another video. But I have those to express myself, to write things down, to do what I need to do. And those combined with my photography have just given me the ability to become something that I never was. And I think it's important for other people to find that themselves. I think it's important for people to find the thing that they can express themselves in, that they really enjoy, that just brings them joy and peace. And to do that. And not to worry about what other people think of your newfangled project, or not to think about how people will judge you for it. As long as you're not hurting anyone, unless you're doing tattoos and that hurts people. But there's nothing wrong with tattoos. If you're doing hangings, the piercings on hanging people up by the rafters, by those piercings, or your UFC fighter, that hurts people. But those people ask for it, they want it. So BDSM, yeah. If it's something that you do that doesn't hurt other people, or they're consenting to, I think that's fine. So I can go into my story about how I found my whole passion thing. I think it started on my first marriage anniversary. I don't even think I was married yet, honestly. I think it was like a dating anniversary, so not even a real anniversary. Or maybe 1 year. I remember I went and I found, it was definitely an anniversary, I don't remember which one. And I went with my then either girlfriend, fiance, or wife, I don't know, all the same person. And I just saw a camera for sale. It was super cheap, it was $500. And then there's another camera, point and shoot, for my wife. So $600 in total. That's super cheap for a camera. So I said, let's buy it. Let's just do it. I have some extra money. I don't know why I had extra money, but I had extra money. And just my love of photography kind of went from there. And it kind of went in another direction of, well, let's go to YouTube and make videos and really do cool things. And, you know, I could be, you know, the next Steven Spielberg or something like that. But I kind of found that creating the stories on YouTube was a little out of my range, something that I wasn't into. I enjoyed just telling a story in the one frame that's there. I enjoy prepping and getting that everything ready so that that one shot can tell a beautiful story, and I don't have to thread together a million different things, and I don't have to really produce such videos. I didn't enjoy YouTube, but I found that the creative part of it, the aspect, the editing, the going out to places, the getting the footage, that was what really got to me. And so that is what I really enjoyed. And so I kind of refocused myself onto taking photos instead. So that is how I ended up getting into photography. And then I ended up getting another camera for Christmas, and that one was better at photography than the old one, and it kind of just went up from there. And I found that taking photography and setting up and learning about the lighting and the tripods and the f-stops and the blah 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 really got to me. So it just kind of came naturally to me. It wasn't something I really sought out, but it was something that I always had an interest in. And if there's something that you've always had an interest in, you've always gone back to, I think follow that. There's going to be people who, you know, I'm lucky enough that I'm surrounded by people who say, go ahead, why not? You know, when I say, hey, I want to do YouTube, they say, well, I don't care, go ahead. Or I want to be a photographer, well, I don't care, go ahead, just have fun. As long as we have food to eat, I'm happy. So that's where I've been really lucky. And for those of you who have other things that you really want to do, that you have a passion for, do it. You might have to, I am far from being successful in photography, far from it. I think I made like a total of $50 from photography. That's it. I can guarantee I've made less than $50 just because I enjoy it. I take photos for free, so I can get better, and then as I get better, I'm going to start charging more and more. But I'm still really learning now. But I mean, anything you want to do, you'll start at the very bottom. You'll start doing it for free. You won't make any money. It'll be hard. There will be people who will say, hey, you're an idiot. What do you think you're doing? Don't do this. And that's to be expected. I mean, think about it this way. The people who did Airbnb at first, they didn't start off and people said, that's a stupid idea. It was actually something really good, but before they had it, it was Airbnb, it was Air Bread and Breakfast, and they had some people who, you know, were like, oh, that's not a good idea, or we should do it this way, yada, yada, yada. And they did what they needed to do, and they succeeded. Twitter was started on the back of a napkin. No, that's Reddit. Reddit was started on the back of a napkin. And even though it started on the back of a napkin and people thought they were idiots that it wouldn't work, they still went through it. I mean, there's all these different stories online, just listening to some podcasts about people and their stories, and you will see how at the beginning they just did something that came naturally, it was organic, something they thought that they could make that would help them. I mean, there's a emailing platform. The emailing platform that millions, I think, it's got to be hundreds of thousands or millions of people use all around the world. It's an add-on to Google to help people to mass mail people. And that was just started, one guy started it. He said, hey, this is going to be a pain in the butt for me to do on this project, so why don't I make it for a bunch of people? And he made it, and he sent it to his friends and said, hey, what do you think? And they said, all right, well, I like this. I want to buy it from you. And it just started going. And now he's making 6 figures a year off of that. So being creative, I think, one, it is super important for humans to stay sane. We definitely need community, and we need to be creative. Other than food, I think food, water, and relationships, we need communities to support us and to help us when we need it, and raise the children and whatnot. And we need to be creative. I think if we're not creative, honestly, I think that's why people end up just going crazy. What are you doing, you stupid car? You're on a red light and you're going. Jeez. Jack in the Box? Anyways, now I forgot where I was going. But creativity is very important, and I hope that, and I think all the people who started the big billion-dollar companies, they started it with, a lot of them, not all of them, started it with just the thought that, hey, this will help me, and it's something that I really enjoy. And then from there, other people enjoyed it, and they were able to make money off of it. So I think creativity, the best creative things in life, start free and just organically evolve from there. So I've got a lot more videos that I want to make like this, and I've got my GoPro from my friend at TJ, and my fellow podcaster at the 4T podcast, Brian. And if you haven't checked out his stuff, I'll link it down below. And my podcast, our podcast, the 4T podcast, Two Tohoku Teachers Talk podcast. Check that out as well. I got this wonderful GoPro that allows me to do this, and it's a lot less janky than the little setup I had for my cell phone a long time ago. So hopefully I'll have more of these. I've got a lot of videos. I've got a lot of things written down here about what I want to talk about. So hopefully this will be interesting for you as it is for me. And I hope that I can make something good. So tune in, and thank you for watching. This has been an ALTS Productions on an ALTX video, maybe under Drive Me Crazy, depending on where I decide to upload this. Peace, love, and happiness, and all the best to you. Oh my gosh, it recorded. That is